Hey, welcome back. This is Bex with Hidden Currents Divination. I'm here to do the Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus reading. I'm trying something a little bit new today. I'm doing this video with headphones in, so if I get tripped up, just bear with me because I haven't tried it this way before, but felt like giving it a whirl. All right, Sagittarius. The eclipse is over. It's the last one. It happened this morning in Sagittarius, I believe. I think that's right. And that's it for like several years for eclipses in or opposite your sign, Sagittarius. Anything interesting happen? Anything big? How have you been feeling? Do you feel relieved now that it's over? Those eclipses started in June 2020. So think back to then. Think of how far you've come since then, what you're letting go of, what you're finishing. All right. 3-card spread. Clarifying is needed for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Timeline is now for the next Sagittarius Moon. Also, happy birthday if you're a Sag Sun. It's your time, right? Is it? Yeah. It's Sag season. Okay, I can shuffle these. I just want to get one more good one, and then we can start. All right. I'm gonna drink water. Got my High Priestess cup. Okay, here we go. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you guys need? What's the message? It's so many. Okay, but I got a feeling that it was this one. Judgment. Judgment's been showing up a lot. Who got Judgment last? No, that was Justice that I'm thinking of. The light is weird because of the blinds. Sorry about that. This Judgment is super cool. A person. They have fox ears and really long hair. They're holding a fox who has been wounded. There's fox skeletons all around, and they're blowing the horn. Judgment is about, judgment. Being weighed and measured. And the horn, for me, like that somebody blowing the horn, it's like, it's a call, right? It's something being heralded. So either like calling something back from the past, or something from the future. Time's weird with Judgment. And High Priestess. She just showed up for Scorpio, so that's interesting. Okay. What's next? I'm still learning how to shuffle, how to handle this deck. Because I might have to like get a whole new shuffling technique for it, because this deck I don't think really likes to be shuffled the way I normally shuffle. There we go. Ooh. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. What is that? It's like jackal, hyena, coyote. I don't know. Up on the thing, fighting off this big old bird. Major like stand your ground energy. You have 2 2s here already. I'm noticing because Judgment's 20, which boils down to a 2. I have the High Priestess, which is also a 2. Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. All right, did I talk about High Priestess? I don't think I did. She's a mystic, diviner, keeper of secrets. And I'm looking at like the ways of Judgment and High Priestess are playing out, and those are both major arcana too. Sagittarius, what is this? Overall energy card, I think. For Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, please. It's interesting because, and I'll show it to you here in a second, Judgment's like blowing the horn, and it's like a call and a response between Judgment and High Priestess here. They are blowing that horn, and High Priestess is like holding this pomegranate aloft, almost in response. Oh, there's two there. Yeah, okay. There's two, but it's the 9 and the 10 of Wands together. I think I'm going to put the 10 back because it was underneath, but we're going to acknowledge that. Oh, that's the 10 of Swords. This is the 9 of Wands. They're different. That's the 10 of Swords, which is, I think it's fitting that this showed up here because 10 of Swords is major, like, closing out a very painful cycle sort of energy, right? Look at this poor thing, and the vultures are feeding on it, and you just had the final eclipse in your sign. That's major storyline ending stuff. Sometimes that's painful. So we're just gonna acknowledge that, and we're gonna put it back, because what actually came out on top of that was the 9 of Wands, which is 9 of Wands is, it's, you know, it's about like defending what you have worked so hard for. It's about remaining vigilant, keeping your eyes peeled. Look at the sort of like the stance of this fox, right? Sort of on the lookout, aware, wary. That can be a good thing or a bad thing, Sagittarius. Just kind of depends. 7, and then you had the 7 of Wands here too. Sagittarius. I'm trying to like, I'm trying to feel it out. You know, in the last couple of readings I did for you were kind of big, right? I was talking about this Judgment and this High Priestess and the way that they are interacting in your spread. And I talked about, see, look at how Judgment is calling and the High Priestess is responding. Normally when I have cards that are playing off each other like that, it feels like relationship stuff, but these aren't court cards. These are major arcana cards. Big lesson type stuff. But I'm struggling to see what that is. Sagittarius. It's kind of funny that I like have my High Priestess cup. And you guys got High Priestess. Bear with me, Sagittarius. I'm thinking about time. sometimes with judgment feels like a time kind of card to me, because it's about an ending, but it's about a beginning too. And lots of times in judgment cards, there are 3 figures present. And sometimes those figures can be past, present, and future, or past, present, and future. So sometimes I think about the ways that we sort of tend to think of past, present, and future, right? Like this, and this. But a lot of times it's actually more like, yeah, you know what I mean? Past, present, and future are kind of intermingling. Sagittarius, you're a fellow Jupiter ruled sign. I feel like you might know what I mean. And then I'm also looking at High Priestess and how she has the crescent and the full moons at the same time. And I'll be talking about how we're sort of finishing a timeline with these eclipses for you, Sagittarius. And I feel like maybe in the last year and a half, you've gone through a lot. A lot. We all have collectively, but maybe like you personally, individually as well. Some stuff maybe that's made you sometimes suspicious, occasionally on guard. And that's a lesson that you maybe have had to learn the hard way a little bit. And there's a time and a place for that. And really, because High Priestess is a big intuition card for me. Of like, because look at how she's standing in the water. Lots of times water is like your subconscious, your unconscious, your feelings, your dreams, the things that are just kind of under the surface, right? Your instinct, you know, the thing that is like, hey, listen to me, like this isn't right, something's not cool here, or you gotta watch out. I feel like maybe there's like you come to a place where there's a thing that I'm reaching for here. Your past, present, and future lessons call out to you, and you respond to them, and you know it's like a distinction between anxiety and intuition, right? Like when you need to fight, when you need to stand your ground, when you need to assert yourself, and when you just sort of need to like be looking and watching and observing, noticing. I had a thing that I was gonna say. I lost it already. I'm sorry, Sagittarius. Let me get some more cards, maybe. I'm getting fingerprints all over my cards. That makes me sad. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I was going to talk about intuition versus fear or anxiety. I'm going to talk about how that feels for me personally. So intuition for me, it's like, it's very solid, right? It feels like this thing that I just know. And it feels kind of like expansive. So when I get a message from my intuition personally, I'm not scared. Even if it's, you know, not the best news, not the greatest thing to know, not what I wanted. I don't feel frightened. I don't feel afraid. I don't want to shrink. I don't want to hide, right? Like I don't want to run from it. Anxiety and fear is completely the opposite, right? When I'm afraid that something is happening or might happen, or it feels a little more like this. It's a shrinking feeling. I want to shrink. I want to run, I'm afraid. And intuition's a little more, it's not so fighty, you know, but I can rise into that message, that instinctual gut sort of, okay, this is what this is. Whereas with fear, it's like, that's just me. Maybe your experience is different. But I do feel like maybe over the last year and a half-ish, you've come to sort of recognize that. Because judgment can be scary. And you know, this high priestess isn't exactly the most welcoming figure, but it feels like that's what this message feels like. Intuition versus fear, Sagittarius. And which one are you going to let lead you? Which one are you going to follow? Which one are you going to trust? And how do you know which is which? That's big questions. Big questions. I think I might clarify this Seven of Wands. What is that about? What is that about? And you know, fear has its uses too. I'm not here to tell you don't listen to your fear ever, right? Because sometimes when your fear dings off, it is something that you need to listen to. It's like, oh, I'm gonna, you know. All right. Yeah, it's so much. There's so much like. You could have major Pisces placements, Sagittarius. Because for me, High Priestess is a Piscean card. And you got Hangman too. Which is another Piscean card. I was clarifying the Seven of Wands. I feel like these can be more different. Hangman is a 12, which boils down to a 3. Which is interesting. Okay. Hangman here, this Hangman, it's a mermaid. She's all wrapped up in this rope, which is tied to this anchor. And there's a message here with this Hangman about the more you fight against something, the more you struggle against it, the greater its grip on you, right? Because Hangman for me is about surrendering, letting go. Surrender is not giving up. It's acceptance, right? It's like, this is what I can change, this is what I can't, knowing the difference, right? This is where these two cards come together. And this is also, I feel like, ties back into that intuition versus fear message that we're getting for you. It's like, what can you fight to keep or change? What can't you? What do we need to just let be? What do we need to let go? How do we know the difference? Through the messages we get from our fear, our intuition, our judgment, our discernment, our inner knowing, watching, waiting, observing. There's a time to act, and there's a time to not, to just accept, surrender, flow, right? And I feel like there's also a message here. Sometimes the Hangman can be about self-sacrifice. Sometimes self-sacrifice is appropriate, right? Like there are times when we need to put our best interests aside for someone we care about or the collective or whatever. But there are other times when self-sacrifice is just not going to do it. That's not what you need to be doing. You need to stand up for yourself, fight for what you believe in, hold your ground, you know? Some big lessons, Sagittarius. It's like, let's get advice. This video's already pretty long. I feel like I've been kind of rambling, wandering. Sagittarius, though, that's okay with you, right? Advice card. Advice. One card. Advice. Sum it up for 6, please. Advice. Is that it? Two of Cups. Solid advice for Sagittarius. Two of Cups is about connections, relationships, love. And look at how their tails are intertwined. And you know what I'm reminded of with seahorses? How the male carries the babies and gives birth to them, right? It's a thing that's like, it's really neat. But I'm thinking of that because I'm thinking of like people in your life who can carry things for you, who can help you give birth to things, who will work with you, reciprocate, equal give and take type stuff, right? Sagittarius. Two of Cups for advice is like, it's because there's a lot of sort of solitary energy in this reading, right? Look at all these figures we have. Judgment, who is alone. The High Priestess, who is alone. The Hanged Man, alone, right? This Seven of Wands is fighting off an enemy, and the 9, all alone. Remember this. Remember love and reciprocity and mutual benefit and equal give and take and people who are important to you, who you can rely on, who rely on you. Like, lean into those things because they're necessary. Everybody needs them. And like, you need them and they need you, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to run from it. Some solid advice. I think we could all stand to hear that occasionally. Like, you're not meant to go it alone. You're not meant to do it all by yourself. Everybody needs somebody sometimes. You know? You included, Sagittarius, and that's okay. I hope this had something that you needed. If you would like to follow my socials or shoot me an email to book or have questions, that'll all be listed in the description. And I'll see you next time, Sagittarius. Bye.